Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. And in today's video, we'll be drafting a playsuit or a jumpsuit using the hip allocation formula for the trouser piece of this dress. So if this sounds like what you're interested in, stick around with me till the end of this video. Hey guys, so we'll be working with the biggest measurement now. So the biggest measurement will determine the amount of fabric that we are going to be having on fold. Okay, so I'm working with my bust measurement and my waist measurement. So my bust is the biggest measurement here. Okay, so now what we are going to do now is to determine our neck width. So the neck width I'm working with is 3 inches, and the neck depth I'm working with is 3 inches. That is for the front. Remember, we are cutting the front first. So now the shoulder measurement is my shoulder is 15 plus divided by 2, that is 7.5 plus half an inch for the joining allowance. Okay, so now that part they are going to be coming down by 1 inch, then you make a connection, that is for the shoulder slope. Now to determine your chest line, yeah, that is your armhole, you're going to be dividing your bust by 6 plus 1.5. Okay, so the answer you have plus half an inch for the joining allowance at the shoulder line. So that is what you see me doing there. So now the 7.5 for the shoulder, you're going to be bringing that same 7.5 at the chest line. Okay, in order for us to have a straight line, they're going to be dividing your armhole length. Okay, that from your shoulder slope to your chest line by 2. Okay, they're going in by half an inch, that is 0.5 inch. Okay, so now once that one is done, we're going to be determining the half length. Okay, so the length I'm working with is 18 inches. So 18 plus half, you're going to be adding half an inch to it. That is for the joining allowance at the down part. Okay, remember we are cutting on fabric. I hope you get. So you're going, that is what you see me do now. The bust I'm working with is 37. So 37, my bust divided by 4. Okay, then plus 1 inch seam allowance. So you're going to be connecting those points together, right? So now so guys, before we impute our waist measurement, I want us to impute our nipple to nipple measurement. Okay, so the nipple to nipple I'm working with is 7 inches. So 7 divided by 2, that is 3.5. So that is what you see me do. Then I determine my bust point line, that is 10.5. So you are going to be imputing your nipple to nipple also on your bust point. Then the dart I'm going to be using is 1 inch, that is half inch on both sides of our dart leg. Then at the nipple point, you're going to be coming down by 1 inch. Then you make your connections like so. Now our waist measurement, we will be imputing our waist measurement at this point. Okay, so taking note of the 1 inch that you use for that, you're going to be replacing it back. Then make sure you add 1 inch sewing allowance at the side. So we are ready to cut out, guys. So guys, at this point we are done cutting out the front piece. So you're going to be notching the that at part. Okay, so that once you are joining on your sewing machine, it will be easy for you to sew. Okay, so now I'll place my front piece on my back piece. So at this point now, I'm going to be tracing out the front piece. Okay, I'm going to be tracing out the front piece because I want us to effect back tightening, even though we are working with the free hand. So there is a way you can actually effect your back tightening on your fabric in order to prevent bulging, that is zipper bulge at the back. Okay, so that is why you see me tracing out, but nevertheless you can still trace out the front on your back without affecting the back tightening. All right, so now at the waistline there, I'm going to be going in by 1 inch, that is for back tightening, and it's just for us to prevent any form of bulge at the back. Okay, so guys, that's sorted out already. So remember the front, if you are to work on pattern, the front and back is not actually the same because of the bust in front. Okay, so but we'll be effecting that on this on the bodies here. So what I'm going to do is at the instead of having 18.5 inch for the back half length, we'll be having 17.5 inch. So that's what you see me taking out. Okay, but and at the end of all these, I'm going to be cross checking your measurement. Okay, so what you see me do now, I'm cross checking my measurement and I'm adding 1 inch sewing allowance, just the way I did for the front. That is the same way I'm doing for the back. The only alteration here is the back tightening, the zipper allowance, and making the back length 17.5 instead of 18.5. Okay, so after doing this, now I'm going to be adding your zipper allowance. So I'm adding the zipper allowance of half an inch. Okay, you can add zipper allowance of 1 inch depending on what you are comfortable with. Okay, so for the back width, I'm going to be going using a V neckline for the back neck width, right? So now once you are done with this, remember we made the back 17.5. So at the side for the front, I'm going to be going up by half an inch, okay, and I'll make a connection like so to the other side of my that leg, then I'll cut it out. This is to enable the front and our back to be equal when we are joining. Okay, I hope you understand. So I'm going to be cutting out this back piece now. Okay, so I'm done cutting out the back piece. So what I'm going to do next is to impute our dart. So I'm making use of a dart of 1 inch. Okay, so I'm imputing my nipple to nipple measurement, then at the chest line that I came down by 1 inch. Then I will take out half inch on both sides of the dart leg, making 1 inch. Then I'll make a connection like so. Then I'm gonna be notching it so that once we are on our sewing machine, it will be very easy for us to sew, guys. So guys, we are done with the upper bodies of our jumpsuit. Should I say jumpsuit or play suit? So now let's cut the lower part, that is the trouser part of this. So now, how do you determine the amount of fabric that is going to be on fold? So guys, we're making use of the hip allocation formula for this, right? So what we are going to do is this. I need you guys to pay attention to this, guys. So there's just a little alteration to this. So now I'm working with the hip of 37 and a thigh of 25, right? So you're going to be dividing 37 by 2. Okay, so 37 divided by 2 is 18.5, and your thigh 25 divided by 2 is 12.5, right? So now I'm working on the front piece of this jumpsuit, so of this trouser piece, right? So what you're going to do is this. That's 18.5, that is 18.5 for the front part and 18.5 for the back part. But for this, like I said, the hip allocation follow, what you're going to do is this. So if you're cutting for your front piece, you're going to be having 18.5 minus 1. Remember, we have butts at the back, or we don't have a bum at the front, so that is why we are removing 1. Okay, and this will give your pants a perfect fit. Okay, so 18.5 minus 1, that is 17.5. That you'll be having 17.5 for the front. Okay, now for the back, if you are going to be cutting the back part of this piece, you're going to be having 18.5 plus 1. I hope you get. So as you're removing 1 from front, you are adding that one back to the front, to the back rather. Then for the tie, you are going to be doing your tie now divided by 2. So the tie I'm working with is 25 inches, alright? So 25 divided by 2 is 12.5. So that 12.5, I'm working on the front piece, it's going to be 12.5 minus 1. That is the tie measurement for my front piece. Now if you're working on the back, it's going to be 12.5 plus 1. I hope you understand this. So you are removing and adding on just only the hip and the thigh measurement. Okay, so now after doing that, now I hope you understand what we just explained. So I'm going to be marking out a starting point line, right? So you see me, I've already marked out the starting point line. Now all my measurements will start from the starting point line. So what I'm going to do next is to impute. So guys, what I'm going to do is to take our the length of our jumpsuit. So remember, the half length is 18 inches for the front, right? So that is what you see me do. So my 18 inch, I'll take the 18 inches to the starting point line, okay, and measure out the length that I want to use for this play suit. So that is what you see me do. Then I'll rule a straight line there. Then at the hem line, I'm going to be adding 2 inches to the hem line, okay, 2 inches for the hemming allowance there. So once you are done doing that, what you're going to do now is to determine our crotch length measurement. Now, how do we determine the crotch length measurement? What you're going to do is you're going to be taking your tape to where you want the trouser piece to start from on your waistline. You take your tape measure and measure from there down to the surface of your seat. I made a tutorial on that on the channel. You can head over and check it out. Okay, so the crotch that I'm working with here is 11 inches. Now the waist to hip measurement, right? So you can take also that measurement also on your body. Just take your tape and measure from your waist to the fullest part of your lower bodies, right? That is your hip measurement. Okay, that is the pelvic bone. Now the waist measurement I'm working with here is 28. So 28 divided by 4. I'm not making use of that on this trouser piece of this jumpsuit. Okay, so if you want to make use of that, make sure you add that to your measurement. So I'm making use of 28. So 28 divided by 4, that is 7 plus 1.5 inch. The half inch will be meant for the crotch area joining. Okay, so now the hip measurement, remember we have 17.5 from our calculation for the front. Remember we have 17.5 inch after removing 1 inch from 18.5. So I remember that this is folded into 2. That is, the front is folded into 2, so you need to divide the 17.5 by 2 as well. Okay, so that is what you see me do. So you divide 17.5 by 2. Okay, then also add 1.5 inch sewing allowance to your measurement. Okay, so now for the tie measurement, remember the tie we have for the front is 11.5 inch, right? So that 11.5 inch, you're going to be adding 1.5 inch for the all the sewing allowance there. Okay, so now once you are done doing this, now you're going to be connecting your lines. I hope you understand this, guys. So you're going to be connecting your line. I'm cross checking the measurements so that there will not be any issue along the line. So I just cross check the measurement here. So guys, if you find this video helpful, please do well to subscribe to the channel, and also drop your comments if you have any questions, right? So now you can also use your free hand to connect the lines, guys. You can use your free hand to connect the lines. So once you are done doing that, now you're going to be imputing your so guys, we're going to be imputing the circumference measurement for the hem of our short, right? So the hem is the circumference measurement there is 18 inches, right? So 18 divided by 2 is 9 inches, right? So you add so guys, you're going to be adding your 9 inches plus 1 inch for the sewing allowance. I hope you understand that. So we're going to be placing the front now on the back. You can see the way I folded the back piece. I made the back piece bigger than the front piece. Okay, so now I place the front piece on the back piece. Now I want you guys to pay attention to this. Remember, we are doing hip allocation formula. Okay, so remember the front hip we have is 11.5. Okay, and the back hip that we have is 13.5. So what we are going to do is 13.5 minus 11.5. In order for us to know the inches that we're going to be adding to the hip area at the back, you have 2 inches. Okay, so that means we have 2 inches difference. What you're going to do is at the hip line there, you're going to be adding 2 inches. Okay, that is for your back. Okay, you're going to be adding 2 inches. This time around there is no guesswork. Okay, so whatever your own measurement is, that is what you're going to be adding to the hip area. Now for the thigh area, what you're going to do is this. Remember, we have so for the tie area, remember we did 11.5 for the front. Okay, and we removed 1 inch, okay, from 12.5, making 11.5 for the front part. Now for the back, what you're going to do is the back part, after we added 1 inch to the back part, we have 13.5. So I'm going to be subtracting 11.5 from 13.5, making 2. Okay, that means we have 2 inches to be added to the thigh area. This time around there is no guesswork. Now for the hemline, okay, what you're going to do is just for you to add 1 inch is allowance. The all the necessary measurement necessary allowance has been added already. So after you are done with this, you're going to be connecting the line like so. Okay, I hope you get it up till this point. You're going to be connecting the line like so. So after connecting the hem line to the tie line, so the next thing is just for you to make connection from your tie to your hip line. Okay, you can use your free hand for this, from your tie to your hip line. And the one thing I love about this method is there is no room for guesswork. Okay, so now at the back part, can just go up by half an inch, or you just leave it like so. Okay, so after you are done with that, I've already added my all the necessary allowance. Okay, so after you are done with this, now you can see the way I'm making the connection. Okay, in order for me to be able to cut out the back. Okay, so that is what you see me do now. So guys, after you are done cutting, okay, I just want to make a little alteration to the front. Now at the front area there, you're going to be coming down there by half an inch or 1 inch. Okay, this is to prevent any form of your jumpsuit being saggy. Okay, so but don't go below don't go above 1 inch, please. Half an inch is even okay, but for me I decided to make use of 1 inch. Okay, so now we are done cutting the down parts of the play suit. So if by this time you haven't subscribed, please guys, do well to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that I can be notified whenever I upload a new video. So now I'll be joining my lower bodies now to my upper bodies. Okay, so first thing first, what we are going to do now is, so guys, before we finally join the upper bodies to the lower bodies, I want us to cross check our measurements. Okay, so that if there is any excesses or if there is any shortage, you know how to deal with it. So now I'm matching my upper bodies, that is the front part, to my back part. So remember we added 1 inch allowance to this, so plus my that, everything aligns. Okay, so you can also go ahead and make sure that you cross check all your measurements, so that whenever you are joining, it will be very easier for you. There will not be any form of there will not be any issue with the upper bodies and the lower bodies not matching up as expected. So you can go ahead and do that as well. So that is that about that. So the next thing we are going to do now is to start joining our bodies together. So here is my front piece here, guys. So remember we added half inch for the crotch joining. So I'm going to be going up there. I'm going to go into my sewing machine and I will sew half inch all the way. This is the front part of the play suit. All right, so I'm done joining the front piece of the lower part. So the next thing we are going to do now is, so guys, before we attach the lower part to the upper part, we need to sew in our dart, right? So what you see me doing, I'm marking my dart so that once on the sewing machine, it will be very easy for you to join the dart. So after chalking that particular place, so I'll just do it that way so that the chalk will be on the other side. So after I'm done sewing the darts and all, okay, I joined my upper bodies to the lower part of the place, so you can see what I did. Sorry, I did that off camera. Okay, so once you are done with this, make sure that all points, all lines align. Okay, so you join. So guys, make sure that all points align. So what I did is you locate the midpoint of the upper bodies and the midpoint of the lower bodies and make sure that they align and join them together. Okay, so now once you are done with that, the next thing is for us to work on the back piece. Okay, but before you work on the back piece, you should have sew the darts for the upper body. So once that is done, you're going to be joining the upper piece and the down piece of the back piece together, making sure that you are sewing on the half inch sewing allowance that we left for the joining. Okay, so now I'll go to my sewing machine now, and you can see I've already joined the back and the front together. That is the upper piece and to the lower piece. Then I've gone ahead to sew the shoulder lines together. Okay, so this is just a mock-up to show you guys how the fit of this dress is. At the end of the day, you will definitely see it on my model. So now once that is done, the next thing for us to do, at this time, you're not going to be joining the back crush yet. You leave the back crush like so. Okay, so at this point, you are going to be joining the side by the 1 inch sewing allowance that we left all through. Okay, and make sure that the waistline aligned together. Okay, so you match the waistline of the front and that of the back together. Okay, and you're going to be sewing on 1 inch sewing allowance that we left while we were drafting our bodies. Okay, so now I'll go to my sewing machine now and do that. So now I'm done doing that now. So the next thing, so guys, I'm done doing that now. So it's at this point now that we cross check our measurement, we input our measurements, and we join the center, back, and the back rush together. Okay, so now what you are going to do next is you can see the way I'm flipping the piece like so. Let's do that again. So you're going to be mashing the two back rushes together. You can see the way I'm doing it. So you mash it up together, then you're going to be having it on two folds. Okay, this is going to be on two folds. So once it's like this, okay, once it's like this method of fitting will not give you that much stress of trying to like sew here and there or adjust here and there. Okay, so once it's like this, you're going to be imputing your bust measurement on the bust area. Okay, so I'll take my tape measure now, and the bust I'm working with is 37. So remember, this piece now is folded into two, so 37 divided by 2. Okay, so you mark out your measurement there. So remember, we added half inch for the zipper allowance there. So once it's like that, so you're going to be dividing that into 2, then you impute the measurement like so. I hope you understand. Then the waistline, okay, the waistline, what you are going to do is you are going to be dividing your waist by 2. So that is where the waist measurement, and then the hip line, you locate where your hip line is. Okay, locate where your hip line is and mark out your hip divided by 2. Okay, remember your hip, this time around your hip is going to be divided by 2. So you mark it out like so, then you are gonna be joining it. You can see the way I'm trying to chalk out so that you guys can actually see it. Okay, so now I'll go to my sewing machine now and sew to that point, then I'll add my zipper and show you guys how it looks like, guys. So I've gone ahead to add my zipper, and the next thing for us to do, just for us to sew our inseam, taking note of our tie measurements and also our hemline circumference measurement. So and when you are done doing that now, I discovered that I lost the clip on where I was sewing that. So you just impute your hemline measurement. So the hemline I'm working with, knee measurement I'm working with is 18 inches. So 18 divided by 2 is 9 inches. So I'll add 9 inches to that point. Then my tie measurement is 25. So 25 divided by 2, I will input my tie measurement at that point where the arrow is showing there. Then I would go to my sewing machine now and sew. Then I'll show you guys how it looks like on my model, guys. So guys, if at this point you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do to subscribe to the channel and turn on your notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I upload a new video, guys. So guys, here comes the jumpsuits on my model. So this is how the fit looks like. Sorry, I was not able to get the full clip. Okay, so this is just a short clip on my model, and I hope you enjoyed this class. So guys, I'll be seeing you guys in my next video. Thank you.